Hi, John. Thanks for helping my project. Could you say a little bit about yourself?
Hey Nathan, good to see you. John Butler, um, living in Minneapolis here, married, have two boys, Ethan and Isaac. They're 21 and 14. Um, yeah, from a personal standpoint, I get out golf, volleyball, started playing pickleball. I'm coaching basketball, just being involved with the family and trying to travel as much as I can when I can.
That sounds awesome. My wife and I have taken up pickleball as well, so maybe sometime we could visit Minneapolis and play.
Let's do it.
Well, did you know that NASA's planning to send astronauts back to the moon?
I have heard this, but I don't know that is there a date set?
Yes, actually there is. So last year they tested the rocket that would send the astronauts around the moon, and they selected four astronauts to be the first four astronauts to go on that rocket, which should happen December of next year, 2024. And then in 2025, that should meet up with SpaceX, a vehicle in lunar orbit, take them down to the surface and back up. And so it should be by the end of 2025 is what's
Okay.
currently official, though a lot of people suspect that it may take a little longer for that actual landing to happen.
Okay. Could get pushed back. Yeah. It's
But
exciting.
the 2024 around the moon, I think there's high hopes that'll stay on time.
Okay. So yeah, but so getting around the moon is one project, and then they'll do it again and actually land.
That's right.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay.
Um, so not everybody is convinced that this is a good sort of you know expense, and I was just wondering, kind of, how does it rate with you in terms of you know spending money on such a thing?
I think it's exciting. I think, where you hear the pros and cons where we should focus here on our planet, but I think it's exciting to get to the moon, and I think the next step would be Mars, to venture out and see what's out there, and I'm all for it. I think it's a great way for the not just NASA and US, but from a global standpoint, if we can continue to grow um, and see our civilization you know grow outside of our planet, right? I think it's really cool. I'm all for it. I'm kind of a sci-fi nerd in that way, so I think it's exciting to see these things come to fruition.
And whenever you think about where it might lead to, if you were to fast forward 200 years, do
Hmm.
you see us as planet as uh, uh, interplanetary species by that point, or do you think we're still just pretty much stuck on one planet?
That's a fun question. When you go back 200 years and you see how far we've come from then to see, and then how things are moving even faster. um, I see somehow us maybe not fully colonizing by then to Mars, but I feel like we could be. I think it's exciting that there's an opportunity to do it. I do believe it could happen in 200 years. Yeah. And maybe even faster than that. It just seems like the way things are moving now, once the technology era hit, things just move a lot faster, and they get faster and faster, and we iterate over, on such a quick scale that it's kind of fun to see it. So 200 years, when you look back 200 years, and what we were doing and where we are now, I mean, it's night and day. So it's kind of hard to fathom, but I think it's gonna happen. I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about 60 years ago, whenever NASA got started, the personal computer wasn't a thing, cell phones weren't a thing, beepers weren't a thing. You called places, not people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just to see how much is just in our little phones, right? And the technology just in that. I mean, even 10 years, 20 years from now, where are we going to be? It's it's exciting times, and I think we've got some brilliant minds around the globe that are working towards it, and I do think it's going to happen. I'm actually surprised we haven't been back to the moon already, to be honest with you. So I think doing that excites, the youth that it's coming up, that will, spark a fire in them to want to, be that Elon Musk, SpaceX level, and figure out those hard problems on how to do that and how to colonize and terraform and things like that. And what does that look like? Yeah, 200 years from now, I mean, I see it happening.
And my last question for you is, if you could, would you take a trip to space?
Yeah, not right now. And maybe as the programs get better and it becomes more, just like any like software version, I never like to take the first update. Let's let it get vetted out and figure out the bugs. So I would, but by the time I think I'd be comfortable with it, I don't think my body would allow it.
Well, that's a good question about what would it take for you to be comfortable with it. And if you had to put that in terms of number of people that went before you, do you see that as being dozens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands? I mean, like, what's the number?
We're probably in the tens of thousands. I would want it to be more of a commercial level. Like, this is like, I've known multiple people around my inner circle that have done it, things like that. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be the first 10,000 to try it out, but once it's vetted and it's common, I would be totally open for it. I think it would be kind of cool.
Well, John, that's all the questions I had. I
Okay.
kind of see this video as being something that people 200 years from now will look back on what I think is going to be a historic decade. Is there anything else that you think would be good for them to know about?
To know about it, I don't know. Maybe just to live life and be happy. Try to stay positive. Don't let the negatives bring you down. You know, what's the saying? Tomorrow's a gift. That's why, or the present, or I'm mucking it up, but there's something in there that is always fun to say, that it's just live life to the fullest, have fun, travel, be with your family, and do whatever you can. But yeah.
Well, it sounds good. I'll go ahead and stop the recording then.
Okay.